All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336 once again for episode 175 of the 815 Exchange. And well, simply put, listen, we had the end of the in-season tournament, which was a rousing success. We've got stuff to talk about in combat sports, and how about them Cowboys? But we'll get to that. All right, we'll get to that. All right, or you can skip ahead, which, as always, timestamps are provided in the description along with anything else you're looking for, including my social media links. We had a very nice conversation on TikTok after I posted that college football playoff segment. So yeah, if you can see that the plenty to talk about. We're going to start off with combat sports. It's been a while. I feel like it's been a while since we started off with the fight game. But here we are. And before we get to the events, with UFC 296 coming this week, we're going to talk about boxing. Of course, we got to talk about one of the four princes, right? Garcia handled business. Tank was in jail, but, he beat Ryan, so fire, fair. Shakur is not technically a prince, but he's basically a prince. And, he had one of the most boring fights of all time, but still won, so keeping it going. Of course, T.O. retired earlier this year after winning at 140 and looking like he was back, but he still has his title, so, he's not retired, as we know. So it was down to the last one for 2023, at least, Devin Haney. And there was a lot of talk back and forth between him and Regis Prograis in the build-up to this fight about, can Haney hang? Does he have power? All of these questions, and he answered every single one of them. Every single one. I mean, it was one of the best performances of the year. I'm going to be completely honest. Regis Prograis is not a scrub. He looked like a scrub in this fight. He did not take it. This is not just because the judges, judged it this way. But ask anybody that watched this fight. Regis Prograis did not take a single round off of Devin Haney in what was just a beatdown. An incredibly one-sided beatdown. Almost comparable, to be honest, to Spence and Crawford. All right, this was a demolishing of a high-level fighter. Haney looked like a complete fighter in this, whether it was the footwork, the managing of space, the power, just everything, the jab, everything was going. Everything was going, and it was an excellent, excellent performance, showing why he is one of the, not just anymore one of the best young boxers. He is one of the best boxers on the planet. And yeah, simply put, I'm going to keep this very, very, very simple. Only name I want to hear, I know he said Ryan, fuck that, excuse my French. Teofimo Lopez. All right, T.O. versus Haney. It's the only one I want to see. Athleticism, youth, high-level fight. Two that are growing at an exponential rate. The two that were undisputed at 135 where we just came from. I want to see it. All right, I want to see it before, we could do this, of course, in 3 years when we're in their prime, but let's do it now. Let's do it now. All right, and I think that'd be a great fight. T.O. versus, seeing how Haney, of course, everybody's like Regis might have the athleticism advantage versus Devin. Didn't really look like it. T.O. was like a super upgraded version of that, even and more polished. So, yeah, I think that's the fight to make. And, of course, we got the two helicopter parents with Bill Haney and Teofimo Lopez Sr., so that would just be, excellent. It would sell itself, all right? T.O. versus Haney. Let's make it happen. But, yeah, great performance from Dev, showing why he is, one of them ones. UFC had a fight night this week. It was headlined by Yadong versus Gutierrez. That was pretty cut and dry, honestly. Yadong UD'd him. Nothing really much to say about that. It was, just levels. It was one of those levels fights almost. However, more intriguing was the co-main event. Anthony Lionheart-Smith might need to just hang it up. Might be over. It's come and gone. You reach the heights, contender for the title. Some might say you should have won. But it's gone. You're not even really a gatekeeper at this point. But, yeah, Lionheart gets KO'd in round 3. This was, incredible. Somebody, I was reading, somebody said about this fight, they got used to and almost fell asleep because of how often it happened, the 1, 2, 3 of Lionheart, hearing that thud, and then hearing Roundtree's counter. Like, it just got used to that. It was academic. It was an academic performance from Roundtree. That decision to go to Thailand ended up paying dividends for his career because he's just been such a much better fighter. Of course, he hasn't been world championship level, but he's been a much better fighter since making that decision and making that improvement. So credit where credit's to due. It was the highlight of the the night. So yeah, Roundtree, fantastic performance. But This week we got the last UFC card of the year, UFC 296. Well, not the last UFC card, but last major UFC card. Of course, the headliners. UFC 296 is headlined by the welterweight title matchup of one Leon Rocky Edwards and Colby Covington. Now, Colby hasn't really, been dialed up in the persona in the lead up to this fight. Honestly, since he lost to Usman, he's kind of dialed it down, which I prefer. I get having a character, sell tickets, which you ain't got to do as much as Colby was doing. But here we are. All right, he has a chance, and honestly, the best chance he's going to get at claiming that welterweight gold. All right, this is his opportunity. If he believes that he is still that guy, he is still on that level that he was when he fought Usman, then this is his best opportunity. Not that Leon has proven to be a worthy champion by this point, without a shadow of a doubt. But this is Colby's best chance. I think this is a pretty 50-50 fight. I think the only thing is Leon's been much more active than Colby. I don't know how Colby's going to look. I don't know how he's going to look. So I would probably lean towards, if I had to pick, Leon, get it done, retaining. But if Colby is still that guy, I think it's going to be a very, very interesting fight. It should be a very, very good fight between these two and kind of seeing how these game plans operate. But yeah, very big moment in both of these men's careers. This is a legacy-defining fight for Colby and Leon. Of course, this can only add to his legacy and just kind of proving himself as he wants to be one of the best welterweights to ever do it. So yeah, big fight in the main event. We should have an electrifying co-main event between I don't want to call them the little guys because it's not fair, but Alexander Pantoja and Brandon Royval. It should be fireworks. Pantoja, of course, beat Moreno to win the vacant bantamweight title at 125. But yes, should be a heater. All right, this should be a heater. Should be exciting. The always are. They always are at this division. So very excited about this. I think Pantoja is just one of them savages though. But you never know in this division. Honestly, you never know if Royval could pull it off. Then you've also got on this, it's a stacked card, especially the main card, man. I hope everybody stays healthy this week so we can get it in full. We got Wonderboy versus Shakvat. Is Shakvat legitimate, or can he get past the ultimate gatekeep of one Stephen Wonderboy Thompson? We've got El Kakoi, who allegedly is back. We will see. All right, we will see. I think Tony should retire, but if he doesn't beat Patty this week, then he definitely needs to retire. We will see if he's back. I think this is kind of a layup for Tony, if Tony has any type of skill left, but I don't know. I think he's washed. And of course, the last fight on the main card is Vicente Luque and Ian Gary, which Ian Gary needs this. All right, but Luque is no slouch. All right, he is one of them. He has proven himself at welterweight, but yeah, Gary, if the hype train's gonna keep going, got to get past Luque, and of course he needs this fight after the headlines about his wife or whatever we're calling her, his girlfriend or whatever, and just kind of everything's going on there. So should be a really, really, really good card. Should be one of the best cards of the year, and what a way to finish the calendar year for the UFC. But yeah, Leon, Colby, Pantoja, Royval, and a bunch of great fights, even on the undercard that I didn't mention. Should be a fun one, and of course we'll talk about that on episode 176. Yes, next week, episode 176. The National Basketball Association, NBA. Of course, we got to talk about the NBA in-season tournaments, which I was pretty highly against. But you know what? Honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it, okay? And it's not just because the Lakers won and Bron won. We're going to talk about that. But end up working out. It's kind of like an FA Cup, which is what everybody's kind of been comparing it to. If you know soccer or football, for those that are international viewers. They have, domestic competitions, domestic tournaments that go on during the season in that world, right? So this is kind of the NBA's version of it, right? And honestly, the caliber of play, like normally we're in the regular season, right? We're about to hit the second quarter of the regular season. Nobody really cares. All right, we got the Christmas games coming up, so people might, turn it up for that. But, besides the odd, electrifying performance, nobody's really, too invested. Unless your team is on one of the extremes. You're jockeying for position. People care. The games still matter, of course. But, we're kind of in that. We're settling in. We're settled into the regular season portion. So the in-season tournament has really kind of done a great job keeping that interest, giving players something to fight for, something to play for, giving us quote-unquote playoff caliber basketball, here in December, here in November. So, yeah, credit where credit's due to Adam Silver and everybody that came up with that decision and with the idea of the in-season tournament, because I think it was a rousing success. The Los Angeles Lakers beat the Indiana Pacers and prevent Tyrese Halliburton's superstar turn in the final, which I feel like it's only fitting that, of course, one of the landmark franchises of the NBA and its landmark player of the past generation are the first people to win this. Of course, LeBron also wins MVP. Lakers win 123-109. This was a perfect performance from the Lakers, I'm going to be honest, because Anthony Davis, after all the talk, all the stuff we said about AD, the inconsistency, the injuries, the availability, he showed up. This was AD. This was AD in his best form. In his best form. If AD plays like this, the Lakers are championship contenders. It's just, can he do this on a regular basis? But if this is AD, then woo. 41-20 for AD here in the final. Just an incredible game. If the MVP was for one game, he would have got it because it was an absolutely dominant performance. He also had 5 assists and 4 blocks. Miles Turner will have nightmares of the brow because, yeah, AD just completely dominant. LeBron James is an anomaly, but we knew this. 24-11 for Bron. He was great all tournament long. He wanted this. All right, he wanted this. All right, of course, they beat, who was it? The Pelicans. Made Zion look horrific. Made Zion look horrific in the semifinal with 30 points to 22 and just the athleticism that was on display. But yeah, Bron, he's an anomaly. He's a different beast. Wins MVP. He wanted it. Wanted to get for the young guys. Wants to give them a taste of, what playoff basketball is like. And of course, the man loves his money, so he got the $500K. He had to do what he had to do. Austin Reeves had his flu game. 28 points for AR. He was phenomenal. He was great in this game for the Lakers. They need him. Simply put, he's become one of those guys, and him being able to jump in and be that third piece of the puzzle is huge. It's huge for the Lakers. They are a different team when AR is shooting and playing the way that he did and scoring the way that he did and making the decisions the way that AR made in this game. So yeah, a sublime performance, even though he was sick. So yeah, great job by AR, 28 in the game. Halliburton still had 20 and 11, all right? But they showed how to play this Pacers team, right? Super athletic, super young, can run, but the Lakers' physicality and Cam Reddish and Vando and the length and just having all these wings that can switch off and just smother, right? That defense of the Lakers, which has been the hallmark of this kind of era that we're in with Bron and AD, is that defense and just kind of them being able to be this great defensive team that helps vault them to new heights. And we saw that. We saw that in the tournament. We saw that here against the Pacers, who were the highest-scoring team in the NBA. Highest scoring team in the entire association, and got held to 109 here. And Halliburton got held in check. A third had 20 points, but it wasn't enough. All right, it wasn't enough. The Lakers were just a better team. Important game though, still for the Pacers to play in a game of this caliber for a team that young, trying to build. Halliburton, he's going to be a superstar sooner than later, looking like one of, if not the best point guard in the world, besides Luka Doncic this year. So yeah, Holly. Near superstar levels, of course, that great, moment against the Bucks and against Dame he had in the semi. But Lakers got it done. The king is still the king. Let's talk about the reigning champs, though. Because they can't beat Houston. For whatever reason, the Houston Rockets can just have the Denver Nuggets number. All right, Federico had 26. JG had 25. And Baby Joker was killing Real Joker. 17, 10, and 7 for Sengun. And the Rockets won 114-106. I think they're 1-3, or excuse me, they're 3-1 against Denver this year, or something like that. They might be undefeated actually. But the Nuggets cannot beat. All right, they just cannot beat Houston. It's absolutely insane. Joker went 23-6 and 16-5, which you're like, yo, all right, he did his thing, which he did. But he shot 9 for 26. Jamal Murray had 21, which you're like, okay, that's what Murray does. But he shot 6 for 17. I don't know what Ime Udoka did to this Rockets team, but he is showing why he is one of the most highly regarded coaches right now, I think, in basketball, and one of the best because of what he's done and the leaps this Rockets team has taken, besides even the great moves of getting, FEV and Dylan Brooks and just the enigma that he is. They've done a great job. All right, they've done a great job with that team, and shout out to Udoka because, yeah, giving the defending champs trouble like this is a really positive sign. They're fighting for playoff position, and I don't think a lot of people expected that. But, yeah, shout out to Sengun. He's taking that jump. JG needs to be more consistent, all right? He's shown those flashes a lot this year, which we've been saying for a lot of his career. But he just needs to be more consistent before he takes that jump the same way Sengun has. But, yeah, Rockets' young core looking very good, and they're looking pretty solid. You know who's looking better than solid? That's the Oklahoma City Thunder. You know who's looking worse than solid? The Golden State Warriors. It looks like it's done. All right, it looks like it's done. The same way the Rockets have the Nuggets number this year, the Thunder have the Warriors number, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Shai, of course, is an MVP candidate, one of the best players on the planet at this point. 38, 5-5. Can't stop him. The Warriors cannot stop the boy to save their life. All right, Jalen Williams, 28. Chet Holmgren, 21-7-3. Rookie of the year right now. Even over Wemby. Even though Wemby just had a 2020 game. Youngest to ever do it. And we're going to talk about people that don't know. I'll explain briefly. Ovechkin, Crosby, probably the two hockey players you know of. The two generational talents in the past era of the NHL, right? Ovi was in the draft before Crosby. But they had the lockout year. So Ovechkin's rookie year was the same year as Crosby. And even though they were both phenomenal, both had, historic great seasons, Ovi won rookie of the year because, he was just a little bit better. Just a little bit better than Crosby that year. And, I feel like we got that scenario kind of happening again. Chet lost his rookie season, so this is his rookie season. And, two great, phenomenal, elite tier, prospects going at it. And it looks like the older one is going to get it by a little bit. So we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, like I was saying, Thunder killing the Warriors. Chef had 34, but the boy needs help. All right, Kuminga tried. 24-12. I'll give him credit where credit's due. Jonathan Kuminga tried, but he ain't there yet, and he ain't that guy yet. Klay Thompson is certainly not that guy. Dre's Dre. All right, there's limits. All right, there's limits. He's limited. Okay, but boy, it's not looking good for the Warriors at all. At all. I think that this over. The dynasty is dead. All right, when we said the Lakers ended the era, they ended the era. Okay, because I don't see it with this Warriors team. I do not see it. I don't see them making a run. I don't see them as a contender. Unless something drastically changes over the course of the season, which of course can happen, I don't see it at all. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man, it's looking real grim for the Warriors. The Detroit Pistons, by the way, have now lost 19 straight. The San Antonio Spurs have lost 16 straight. That is the fourth time in NBA history that two teams have lost more than 15 games at the same time. So yeah. Two teams very clearly in the cellar. I don't know if the Pistons... You know what? Because I mentioned it, they'll win this week, right? But it's not looking great. I don't know if they're going to win the game. Because they suck. All right? Purely, they suck. It's worse than I thought. A lot of people are like, yo, they got this, great young... Including me. Was like, yo, they got this great young core. Maybe they make the jump this year with Cade back healthy. No. Not at all. The Spurs, we kind of expected this. Unfortunately, it's kind of a garbage draft for them to get another high pick. But maybe he's just, find another piece to put around with that team. It is a very guard-heavy draft, so maybe you draft a Topic or whatever to pair with Wemby. Because I feel like Sochan is not that guy as like a primary ball handler. So maybe getting that guy, this is a very strong point guard draft, so that could be, helpful for the Spurs, actually. Could work out. But both those teams for now suck, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, don't know if the Pistons are going to win another game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, entertainment, okay? Entertainment, not too much to talk about in movies. The Marvels finally hit 200 million worldwide. Congratulations. Still haven't seen that movie. I would just have to wait till it comes out on D+. Apparently like the rest of the world, unfortunately. Not too much to talk about on telly either. All right, with Invincible gone, I've been down bad. Honestly, I've been watching Vinland Saga, all right, which that last, I just finished season 1. That last episode with... I'm not going to spoil it, but man. The Somebody Turned Pretty and Destined With You. Alright, so that's been the rotation because that's just kind of how telly is right now. But I can't complain. It's been a solid rotation, honestly. Just kind of cycling through the K-drama, the mellow, teenage drama, and the anime. So, solid rotation right now. That's what I've been, watching, but nothing really to report about week to week. I need a show to come back, please. HBO, somebody, Netflix, somebody, drop something major. Music. All right, we did have some major drops, but we'll get to that. All right, we'll talk about it. Stop Giving Me Advice. Dave, Santan, Dave, and Jack Harlow on the same track. Cole Bennett. Commend you. I commend you. I don't know how we got to here, but, I wasn't mad at it. Very solid track. Very, very, very solid. I'd say it's very solid. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it like a 7.8. You know, it was a solid track. Made the playlist. You know, we got some bars. I think Dave is, you know, he's just a better rapper than Jack. Which Jack didn't do bad, by the way. Didn't do bad, but you know, Dave is Dave, and it's kind of cool. Let's give, you know, Dave a little bit bigger of a platform. You know, a new audience that maybe you don't know about the greatness that is Santown Dave. But yeah, he's had a great year, of course, with the collab with Central C, which I absolutely love that EP. But solid song here. Cole's got that album dropping. We'll see what happens and, you know, see what that sounds like. We'll probably listen to it. So we'll talk about that when that comes. But a solid single to kick us off. A lot of bars. Dave Harlow. Go give it a spin. 48 Hours by Skepta, Ryder, Dre Six. All Alone and For You were the only two like real new songs off this EP. I was rocking with them. Real nice, calm. Let Skepta throw, you know, give out his bars, throw some melodies in there. It was real solid. Nothing too crazy. The other things were like Skepta-core, which was just kind of like a mashup of like his old songs. I don't know who Dre Six and Ryder are. I don't know if they're like DJs or like producers, and this was just kind of like a special project, which is what it seems like. But yeah, I know Skepta, you know, I know Big Smoke did his thing. So yeah, 48 Hours, solid project. If you don't want to listen to the Skepta course, which I wouldn't blame you, I didn't after I just kind of skimmed through them. But the, you know, top two songs, solid thing. Big week for British rap apparently, very big week. Nicki Minaj fans, Barbs. All right, it was your week. Okay, Pink Friday 2 came out. Of course, everybody's talking about, I think, everybody by her and Uzi. I think that's the name of the song. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I heard that's gonna be all over TikTok, so I'm sure we'll hear it, and I'll know the name of it soon enough. There was a song with Drake. It was Dancehall Drake. It was very solid. I heard, you know, mixed reviews. I heard it's probably like a 7. I'm gonna be completely honest. If I just had to like blindly guess, I didn't listen to the full project. But if I had to guess, it was probably like a 7. I heard she kind of, you know, which is Pink Friday, right? Best stuff, you know, of course the Barbs are going to say whatever, and of course the haters are going to say whatever, but I was somewhere in the middle. So yeah, Pink Friday 2, if you're a Nicki fan, congratulations, the queen is back. Yachty dropped Give Me the Light, which is not bad, but you know, Yachty's been talking too much, and I think if he stopped talking so much, he wouldn't, you know, be getting the heat he is right now. But yeah, he just keeps I just like shut up and just make music for a little bit. I mean, that sounds very harsh, but he's kind of talking himself into this, like, people are just going to, even more than people that just, like, hate, you know, because everybody's got haters if you're famous, but, like, he's doing too much. All right, Yachty's doing too much, being this, like, super hip-hop critic. It's just, it's not, just make good music and let the people do your thing. All right, just do your thing and don't do this whole, like, pretentious thing. It's kind of off-putting, all right, to say the least. But that was entertainment. Please, something exciting happened in that sphere. Oh, what a week in the NFL. And before, of course, we talk, and I can't wait, because it's the last thing we're going to talk about. Before we talk about my Dallas Cowboys, we do have to talk about the rest of the games, all right? So Thursday, we had the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and what I thought was going to be one of the worst games of the week. And honestly, it wasn't great. It was not great at all. At all, okay? But the Patriots won. So you had two fan bases that were upset. The Patriots were upset because Bailey Zapp played out of his mind. And out of his mind for Bailey Zapp is 240 and 3 touchdowns with 1 interception, all right? That was a great game from him. Hunter Henry had 2 touchdowns, okay? They were upset because that ruined the tank, all right? That's messing up the tank. They're trying to get Caleb, right? They're trying to get Drake. They're trying to get Jaden Daniels. We'll talk about that in the roundup. That's what we're trying to get, Penix, right? You're messing up the tank by giving off these wins, Steelers. All right, they couldn't find a way to win. No Kenny Pickett this week, so they had Mitch Trubisky, and that went about how you would expect. The run game is still non-existent. Najee Harris. Honestly, my boy, even though your offensive line isn't great, you really have nothing to stand on when you go 12 carries, 29 yards. All right, you are under. What is he averaging per game this year? I need to see this. 4. All right, 4. I'll give him 4. All right, that's not bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse because we've had a lot of duds from Najee Harris this year. Though, like I said, I can't put that fully on him. George Pickens is frustrated out of his mind. And, yeah, the Steelers just could not find a way to win this one. Bailey Zapp played a great game, the best game we've seen from him. And the Patriots defense held it down. And, yeah, they get a win. So Belichick was happy going to College Game Day because that really should not have been a good game. And the Steelers really should not have lost that. But, you know, shout out to Zapp. Bucks and the Falcons. The Falcons are another team that just cannot do anything right in the NFC South. Is just it's psychopathic. All right, it's just absolutely psychopathic football. Not necessarily that it's bad football. It's just that nobody wants to win this division. All right, nobody wants to win this division. The Falcons could win it. They don't want to win it. The Saints, you would think, yo, they're the usual. They don't want to win it. We don't even want to. Let's not even talk about the Panthers. Okay, let's not even talk about the Panthers and the Hunger Games that's going on over there. If you know what I mean. Shout out to Sports Illustrated. We hadn't said that in a while. But yeah, nobody wants to win this division. The Buccaneers took their turn this week. Kate Otten, I hate you, but he got the game winner. All right, after you sold me last week with a 0 and got me kicked out of the playoffs, he goes off and he gets a little game winner. Shout out to Baker Mayfield, though, because this was on him. All right, he was clutch. He wasn't pretty, but he was clutch. 144 and 2 touchdowns for Baker. Rachaad White continues to have a great year. 102 on the ground from him, and he also had 2 receptions, 33 yards, and a touchdown through the air. So yeah, shout out to Rachaad White. A solid defensive performance, especially late from the Bucks, getting those stops, getting the ball back so Baker could drive down the field. Desmond Ridder. What ultimately the cost in this game was one of the worst pick sixes you will see of the year. He is not a serious quarterback. He needs to be a backup. The Falcons better be drafting one of those QBs this year. That is all I'm going to say. Drake London had a great game, 10 receptions, 172. But like I said, that pick six was costly, and Baker was clutch. Bucks get the win. Maybe they want to win the division, but honestly, God knows. Jake Browning, and the Bengals are fine. All right, apparently the Bengals are fine. I was a little worried, but I guess not, because Jake Browning is that guy, okay? 275, 2 touchdowns, did have 1 interception, but you know what? You'll live with it. All right, you'll live with it. The Bengals defense played one of their best games of the year, all right? The offense, of course, Chase Brown went off in this game. 3 receptions, 80 yards. Of course, that long 54-yarder receiving. He had was a big catalyst. All right, Trey Hendrickson though, 2 sacks. The pressure they applied to this Colts offense was key in this game. 3 sacks, 4 QB hits. They were getting to Gardner Minshew and making this a very uncomfortable game for the Colts offense that could never really, like they would have spurts, moments, but they could never really get it going, and that was key. All right, that was key for the Bengals and the big reason why they were able to get this done. They shut down the run game, and yeah, it was just an excellent performance. Bengals get the win 34-14. The Cleveland Browns beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know how much stuff they had Trevor Lawrence on, but they would have been better off not playing him because Trevor had 3 touchdowns, but he also had 3 interceptions. Honestly, like I said, I don't know why he played him. I know playoffs are a little bit more healthy, then you can put him back. That's what I would do, but you know, what do I know? What do I know? But nonetheless, in a great fourth quarter, by the way, the Browns were up 28-14. Thought this was over. Jags tried to come back. All right, I mean tried. Fell short. Evan Ingram had 11 receptions, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns. ETN finally found the box. He wasn't great, though. Joe Flacco looked like old Joe Flacco, 311 and 3 touchdowns. Maybe he was the answer. David Njoku, Chief, 6 receptions, 91 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Myles Garrett did Myles Garrett things. They had 4 sacks, like I said, of 1. Trevor Lawrence, Martin Emerson had 2 interceptions. That Browns defense is very quietly. This team has quietly been good, all right? And that defense is very quietly one of the best in the league, in my opinion. And yeah, they caused turnovers here, and that caused havoc for the Jaguars. They just couldn't get back to it and ran out of time. Browns get a big, big win. The Houston Texans, all right? It was a nightmare game. Not just because C.J. Stroud was struggling as is against that Jets defense, but he also probably got a concussion in this game. So, yeah, it just all fell down. It all came crashing down for the Houston Texans in this game. And Zach Wilson, redemption game. Another Zach Wilson redemption game. Zach goes 27 for 36, 301, and 2 touchdowns in this game. Garrett Wilson had 9 receptions, 108, and was talking on X, I guess we're calling it, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. After the game, Breece Hall had 8 receptions, 86 yards, and a touchdown. So for those of you that were trying to get in the fantasy playoffs or are in the fantasy playoffs, hope you started him. I really hope you started him because that was a dream week. 5 sacks, by the way, 5 sacks of C.J. Stroud. A completely dominant defensive performance from the Jets, and Zach Wilson balled out. It was a dream scenario for New York, nightmare for Houston. Ravens, Rams, one of the best games, if not game of the week. All right, personally, non-biased opinion, game of the week. Biased opinion, second best game of the week because I took great joy in what the Cowboys did to the Eagles, but we'll get to that, like I said, all right? But yes, all right, the Ravens walk it off. Tylan Wallace with an incredible punt return. Looked like he was going to fall like 3 different times during that, return. But yeah, just an incredible moment. I love the dive into the end zone. That was dope. But yeah, Ravens come back and get it done. All right, they get it done versus the Rams. Really should have won, but of course, it just seems inevitable. All right, it seems inevitable when you give a team back the ball with like a minute and 33 seconds, unless they're hot garbage. They're going to drive down the field and get that field goal. And Havard got that 36-yarder to send us to OT. But yeah, Tylan Wallace puts it to bed. This was a very good game. Like I said, back and forth we went. Both quarterbacks had great games. Lamar had 316, 386 total, by the way. 3 touchdowns and a pick. Stafford had 294 and 3 touchdowns. Kupp had 8 receptions, 115 and a touchdown. Kyren Williams had 114 himself. Puka got involved, all right? D-Rob got some redemption from last week. Ernest Jones defensively had 10 tackles and a sack. Just everything. This game had everything just about. And, of course, the walk-off for the Ravens. Like I said, Lamar balled out. He looked like MVP Lamar. Huge for by the way, 10-3. Ravens are 10-3. Fighting for that number 1 seed, all right? They have taken, a lot of people were like, I don't know what the Ravens are going to be this year. They could be elite, should be elite. Will they be elite? Record says elite, all right? Record says elite. They're winning games, looking good. That defense is showing up big time as well. So, yeah, not the best defensive performance in this game, however. But when Lamar plays like that, you just got to hold it down. And like I said, Tylan Wallace walks this off. Fantastic game, though, between L.A. and Baltimore. The Bears take out the Lions. The Lions, man, they ain't ready. They ain't ready yet. They're a good team, but they're not ready yet. They have too many games where they revert back to the old Lions. Case in point, this game. And it's like, y'all gotta decide. Are y'all want to be elite? Or y'all gonna be okay? Because y'all are teetering on that right now. But I'm not taking them legitimate as contenders yet. They're not ready. All right, they're not ready. There's games like this that just makes me say they're not ready. Goff had 2 picks. All right, but Justin Fields is not the problem. I love Caleb. Fight on. I do. That's my boy. But Justin Fields is not the problem. And honestly, I wouldn't trade Justin Fields just to pick Caleb Williams. I wouldn't. Because I don't think the problem is the quarterback. I think you have problems with that Bears team, and you can use that pick for great players. Like, I'd pick Marr first. Give him another weapon alongside DJ Moore. Makes it even easier for, Jay Fields, right? Go get an offensive lineman, right? Go get somebody defensive, like a big-time defensive playmaker, right? Or a pass, like, that's where they should go with this pick. I don't really think you need to go get Caleb, because I think with Caleb there, not that I don't think Caleb could be good or better than Justin Fields, I think you're going to still have the same issues that you have with Fields at quarterback. I don't think he's the problem. I think his talent's fine. I think he'll develop fine once, you put the right pieces around him. He's shown enough. All right, I think he's shown enough to keep his job. Of course, you could sell high, but I just don't think, it's worth it. And the Panthers are going to give you the number 1 overall pick, it seems. So, yeah, I think Fields is fine. He had 223, 1 touchdown and 58 yards rushing. So, 2 touchdowns and about 280-something, 290 yards, almost 300. So, a very good game from Fields. Like I said, the Lions struggled. The Bears defense played a very good game. All right, a very, very good game. Had 4 sacks. Justin Jones had 1.5, along with 2 QB hits. Montez Sweat had 4 QB hits. That trade paying off. But yeah, an impressive performance from the Bears. The Lions, though, just not ready, man. Just not ready for prime time. The Panthers have not been ready for prime time for a very long time, and they continue to make that number 1 pick more and more of a reality, and that trade for Bryce looks stupider and stupider as the weeks go on. It was not a good week for the Panthers, but when is the last time that we said the Carolina Panthers had a good week? Was it the offseason? Probably the offseason, honestly. The Saints get the win 28-6. Jimmy Graham scored in this game and had more than 1 catch. That should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about this game. Jimmy Graham had more than 1 catch. I don't even want to list the Panthers statistics anymore just because it's sad, all right? It's just sad. It's sad for Bryce. It's sad for the team. I don't. All right? I'm just going to spare you. Saints got the win. Move on. I really shouldn't even talk about this terroristic game as well. The Minnesota Vikings beat, quote unquote, beat the Las Vegas Raiders. And the worst game of the season for the first time since 1982 in the snow game, remember, with the Patriots, right? Where they had to bring the snowplow out to get the field goal kicker to kick the field goal to win the game. Yeah, that's the last time we had a game go 0-0 this deep into a game. I thought we were going to have a 0-0 tie for a period of time, but the Vikings got the ball down there. And like I said, this was a horrific game. A terroristic Big Ten West. Big Ten West football in its purest form in this game, okay? Quarterback under 100 yards. Run game kind of shaky, but might break something here or there. And, of course, punts galore. It's a terrible game. Absolutely atrocious game. If you're a Big Ten West fan, though, which some of y'all in the Minnesota area are, it's probably sweet bliss. But this was terroristic, okay? It's a terrible game, okay? All of the T's, all the negative connotation T's epitomize this game, okay? And I wouldn't have expected it from the Vikings and the Raiders this year, but boy, oh boy, what a terrible, god-awful game that, unfortunately, we can't forget because it was historic. But please, let's just forget about this game and please move on. I know both of these teams will want to. Seahawks and the 49ers, all right? 49ers are butchering everybody right now. And while the Seahawks were spared from, the 40 spirit bomb that everybody else has been getting from the 49ers since Deebo Samuel came back, this still was completely, besides that one moment, at the end of the first quarter, this game was incomplete. From the moment they stepped onto the field in the second quarter, San Francisco controlled this game. All right, completely controlled this game. The score makes it look closer than it was, in my opinion, because the Seahawks just never, ever. Drew Lock wasn't horrific, but he's Drew Lock. All right, we know what he is. 269, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. That's what he's going to give you. No Geno in this game. Brock Purdy is going to get MVP shoutouts. I don't know about that. 368 and 2 touchdowns, though. CMC, who actually should be getting MVP shoutouts. 145 on the ground in this game. Deebo Samuel, who also, honestly, probably based off of what actually has happened on the field for the 49ers, might be the most valuable player on this team. Had 7 receptions, 149. He also had a touchdown on the ground, along with the receiving one. George Kittle did his thing. Brandon Ayuk did his thing. 6 receptions, 126. Nick Bosa in that pass rush was on Drew Lock like white on rice. And like I said, the most interesting moment of the second half was the fight at the end between honestly, DK, fair enough, he gets thrown out. Lenore, sure, okay. How did Fred Warner not get thrown out of this game? Not that it mattered because there was 2 minutes left. But how does he not get thrown out of the game? He's the one who, DK German suplexed Fred, so alright, sure. But then, that was still kind of in the moment of the play. Fred literally palms out, headshots DK on the ground, and gets nothing out of it. Was the main person involved for the 49ers, and gets nothing out of it. That's crazy to me. But, it is what it is. DK will get fined. Lenore, I guess, will take the fight for Fred. Like a goon would in the NHL. But, yeah, interesting. All right, interesting call. As Patrick Mahomes would say, and we'll get to that. But, yeah, just a very, very interesting decision made there by the rest. But, yeah, 49ers look like the team to be in the NFC, as we all kind of expected at the beginning of the year. Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, all right, yeah, the Chiefs is done. It's over. It's time to have that conversation, okay? It is. Because it's over. Just like we said, the Warriors dynasty is done. It's over. Until the Kansas City Chiefs decide that, hey, surrounding our 2 Hall of Fame caliber players, one who's on the clock at this point in terms of age, until they decide, hey, maybe we should get a number 1, number 2 receiver. Somebody that's not a bum or should be playing in Canada. Until they do that, I'm not taking Kansas City Chiefs seriously. They are not a serious team. Okay? Losing to the Buffalo Bills in 2023 makes you an unserious team. A very unserious team. I don't know who made the decision to trot this Chiefs team out with the way this defense is playing, with Patrick Mahomes, with Travis Kelce. You trotted this team out on full conscience with this receiving core. That's a fireable offense. That should be a fireable offense to trot them out with this receiving core and thought this was going to be sweet and thought it was going to be okay. No. You watching this, you might be a better contributor to that receiving corps than the guys they got out there right now. Bar, I'll give a pass to Rashee Rice because he's showing flashes and he's a rookie. All right, MVS, bye. Kadarius Toney, who screwed it up yesterday again. Joker is going to made Patrick Mahomes turn into the Joker by the end of the game, even though he was mad at the refs, but the call was right, to be honest. And one of the great moments could have been of the year. Probably an all-time moment in NFL history, right? Game on the line. Mahomes finds Kelce. Kelce, which I've always thought, I don't know why more people, when in that situation, don't do that. Don't try to lateral. I've always thought that. I was like, man, if I was still I would try that. Because, it's an easy way to score. You got the defense on you. If you got a teammate and you're about to get tackled, just give him the ball. He scores. But anyways, Kelce makes a phenomenal throw across the field to an open Kadarius Toney who scores, and it looks like the Chiefs have won the game. And then we find out that Kadarius Toney was a yard offside because, of course, he was, because the Chiefs just have terrible receivers. You're supposed to look at the ref, and he'll tell you whether you're on or off. It pains me as a former wide receiver to watch the Kansas City Chiefs play sometimes. Just because it's cringe. It is cringe. It's cringe-inducing. It's painful. It's just, y'all are just criminal. Alright, criminal offenses. To whoever, if it was GM, if it was you, or whoever made the decision to roll them out with this receiving corps, criminal offenses. Alright, this game, statistically, nobody else really to talk about. James Cook had a really good game, though, so shout out to James. But, yeah, the Chiefs are done. Okay, they're done. They're not a serious team. Until they decide to fix that, do not take them serious. And yeah, congrats to the Bills. Maybe y'all turn it around right now. The Chargers are not a serious team as well. Okay, I'm never picking the Chargers to win another game. All right, as far as I'm concerned, they're the Carolina Panthers. Okay, because the Chargers have all of this talent and none of the production. Brandon Staley needs to be tarmacked. If we do that in the NFL, he needs to be tarmacked. They were at home. Go to LAX and leave him at LAX and tell him to get the next flight out because he needs to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. It's done. Send him to San Diego. Chargers fan, but this is a waste. It's a waste of Herbert, who got injured in this game. It's a waste of Keenan Allen, who's one of the great receivers of his era. It's a waste of everybody. Eckler, it's a waste. It is such a waste. And how many seasons are you going to waste in an AFC that's only getting better? Let Russ cook continues for another week as the Broncos have completely rallied in this division and are now looking like potentially a playoff team. Him and Cortland Sutton got the magic right now. Sutton has 3 receptions, 62 yards. Another incredible bomb. Most of that was the 46-yarder, which you'll probably see in all of the highlights, in which it looked like vintage. Every week does. And that is my favorite team. Dallas Cowboys. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I come to you here December 11th, 12:58 p.m. this great Monday midday. And I say to you, one distinct legendary phrase. How about them Cowboys? Woo! Feels so good. Feels so good. Okay, I'm not going to, I don't have too much dip on my chip yet, so I'm not saying we're winning the Super Bowl, but we are leading the NFC East. I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, will we probably lose in the divisional round again? Yes. We're the Cowboys. That's what we do. But Hope has been realized. I said what we were going to do to the Eagles. I've been saying it for weeks. Nobody believed me. When everybody was saying Jalen Hurts was the MVP, nobody believed me. When the Eagles were just still finding ways to win, and don't get me wrong, the Philadelphia Eagles are a tremendous team. All right, one of the best teams in the NFC, right? The best three teams in the NFC is pretty clear now. If you don't know, it's the 49ers, Cowboys, and the Eagles, right? But man, I heard a lot of talk. My stepsis, Misha, if you're watching this, Misha was telling me, the Eagles, bro, the Eagles, they got y'all. Nah. They barely beat us at home, and we've been playing so well. I just knew, all right? I just knew, and it was realized, all right? Now, I could say Dak should be the MVP, which he should be, 271 and 2 touchdowns, and I'm not saying that just because I'm a Cowboys fan. The men lie, women lie, numbers don't. He's got the numbers to back it up, and if you watch the games, it's not like a meme or anything. He's balling out, all right? Dak is balling out. Like, I'm not even saying that as just like a fan. But as like an analyst, he's balling out. He should be the MVP, in my opinion. But, oh boy. This game was about one man, and that man is Brandon Butter Aubrey, former first-rounder out of the MLS, so if you're wondering where he got that leg from, that is where. But Butter Aubrey was pure butter in this game. He had a 59-yarder. He had a 60-yarder. He had a 50-yarder again to kind of put the game away. He had a 45-yarder. He scored 23 fantasy points for me this week. And for a lot of people, in a really big moment, Brandon Butter Aubrey, player of the game. All right, just an incredible performance from him. Pat McAfee, who I have over to the right, was talking about it earlier. It was great. All right, it was fantastic. You know, he led the way alongside Dak. Shout out to Butter Aubrey. He was that guy. CD did CD stuff, scored again. Micah Parsons was sick. He still got a sack because he's Micah. And the Eagles were, not as good as y'all thought, right? Try to tell y'all. Hurts didn't have a great game, was under 200 yards passing, but, that tends to happen quite a bit. Yeah, no tush pushes. Hassan Ryder did have 2 sacks, so if I do have to say something good about the Eagles, shout out to Hassan. He's been great. Honestly, that has changed his career coming to Philly. But this is all about the Cowboys, all right? Dak, Butter, CD, the boys are back. We're back in this thing. How about them Cowboys? All right? And the church said amen. Roundup. I actually almost forgot to put this in, but Shohei Ohtani decided to announce where he's going this week. All right. By the way, welcome to the Roundup, ladies and gentlemen. He decided to announce where the best player in the world, the once in a lifetime, all right, because he's beyond generational at this point, once in a lifetime player is going to the Los Angeles Dodgers, because of course the Dodgers get every free. I'm sick and tired of the LA Dodgers getting every single marquee free agent. I'm sick of the super teams, and I'm sick of y'all not dominating if you're going to have a super team, okay? Y'all do this every year, and then you lose. You lose to some 80-win team. I'm sick of it. Of course the Dodgers get Ohtani, and not just did they get Ohtani, but they gave him the richest contract in North American sports history. 10 years, $700 million, all guaranteed. Now, some of you may be wondering, how in the hell are they able to afford that? And how in the hell are they able to afford a player who's worth more in his contract than multiple teams in the league? To be exact, 8 of them. Well, they've got a nice little payment plan where they can defer it longer. So, kind of like the Bobby Bonilla, if, the Mets are still paying him, so they can defer it so they can get more players. If y'all get Yamamoto, I'm going to hurt somebody. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to hurt somebody. Congrats to Shohei on getting his bag. I don't know how that contract, I get it, Shohei. I don't know how that contract is going to work out, though, long term. He's had injuries, right? He's injured right now. And he's going to be in this contract during his 30s. Players don't typically get healthier, except for that one particular era in baseball, which we will not talk about, in their 30s. So I don't know how it's going to work out, but, we'll see. Ohtani, once in a lifetime, gets a once in a lifetime contract. We better get Yamamoto. We got Juan Soto. The Yankees got Juan Soto this week, made the trade. Lost King, lost Drew Thorpe, but I'll live with it. We got Thorpe. And we got Soto. So we got that. One half of Yamamoto is here. We need to get Yamamoto. I don't care. We better not get bid by billionaire Cohen in the Mets. Please, Yamamoto needs to be a Yankee. Spend the money. All right, spend the money, Cashman. Tiebreaker, please. All right, the WNBA lottery, however, was also this week. The Indiana Fever got the #1 overall pick, which now everybody is salivating about the fact that Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark are about to be teammates, and that is splendid. All right, splendid. I've been waiting. It's the one thing I was missing is if they had a great big, if they had Aaliyah Boston, right, they'd be the best team in the country. All right, and Caitlin would be putting up crazy numbers. By the way, her assist number, it'd be crazier than it is now, which is 37 and 8. She'd be averaging like 37 and like 15. Market team, quote unquote, get it. And yeah, WNBA still needs to expand. Sparks got #2, which they'll either get Brink or or Buckers. Let's see. Yeah, Phoenix Mercury got 3. So it's a really good draft. So, the Storm who got 4. I think any of those 4 teams who were in contention for that #1 overall pick. Of course, you want Caitlin because she's the prize, but you still got Paige. You've got Cam Brink. You've got Cordoso. You've got, Sherwood Angel Reese in there too. Rickea Jackson. Like, there's a lot of great talent coming into the league this year. So, yeah. However, the Fever win the lottery. Bronny made his debut for USC, but they did lose to Long Beach State yesterday. Marcus Tostone, made himself some money yesterday. He was a beast. A beast for LBSU. I think he had 28 in the game. They could not stop him. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't. Bronny, who, by the way, is the premier, is going to be, when he's like full blast, he showed some of it yesterday, one of the premier defenders in college basketball. I'd have switched him over to Sahonis because Boogie wanted no smoke, and honestly, USC stars kind of froze. Even Bronny missed a free throw, which could have probably won the game yesterday. So, USC shot 55.6% from the free throw line, 20 for 36. That's not going to win games, and it ended up costing him this game. So, yeah, Bronny makes his debut, has that highlight reel block, gets his first game time, and you can kind of tell that he's going to be a starter eventually on this team just because the way the makeup is. But they got to hit free throws. Young guys got to get it done, especially when you're supposed to be stars. But, yeah, USC takes the L, and Bronny's debut gets spoiled. In soccer and footy, Sonny cooked Kieran Trippier. All right, I was watching that game, Spurs versus Newcastle. Oh, boy. That was a snuff film. That was a snuff film. Son. Said it before, say it again. One of the best players in the world. Certainly one of the best wingers in the world. Put on a clinic in the Spurs. Get a big one versus Newcastle. Liverpool also balled out. Mohamed Salah. Then we go top of the league. So, yeah, the Premier League is heating up. I think we got Champions League returning for its last, week. Or last match day, should I say, this week. So we'll talk about that for episode 176. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ocho signing off.